This show is dedicated to Whackpacker Kevin Hogan. He died suddenly in a car accident on February 2nd.
Time to get in the ring with DJD Cougs.
Yes, it is. It's time once again to get in the ring here with DJD Cougs here. As always, I'm joined by my esteemed co-host, Beast Mike. How you doing, Beast Mike?
I'm pretty good. I'm at home. I actually missed the bus I wanted to catch. But every cloud has a silver lining because I'll be able to get my taxes in. So I'll do my taxes after the show. It is a cloudy, speaking of clouds,
Yep.
It is a cloudy Friday, February 3rd, 2017. And another cloud thought process is what's WWE going to do with Seth Rollins?
Yes.
Or about the Seth Rollins situation.
We'll talk about that later, but first...
Got a lot of WWE to cover before
Royal Rumble weekend. We have Evolve to cover. We have WWE NXT Takeover. We have WWE Royal Rumble. We have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and
205 Live. We got a lot to deal with this week.
We have New Japan.
Right.
New Japan's on
A
Sunday
couple shows
with a new beginning. So we will preview that in depth. We'll give our predictions. All that good stuff right here on Get in the Ring. Your home for wrestling talk here, right here on Monco Radio, where music and minds meet. And now, I first want to cover this small news bit. Before the show, I said this show is dedicated to Kevin Whackpacker Hogan, who was a wrestling fan in the Philadelphia and New Jersey area. He went to all the Monster Factory shows he could. He went to every CZW show. Very nice guy. Very positive. One of the best fans you could ever meet. He passed away from a car accident this week. My news feed was blowing up with the boys. Reminiscing about their favorite Kevin Hogan memories. And he had his rubber chicken cluck and his muffin. He was known as the Muffin Man because
that's where that came from.
Because he threw muffins at the wrestlers.
That's where that came from.
Yep, that's why I said R.I.P. the Muffin Man because he throws muffins and he loves muffins. So
nice.
So R.I.P. Kevin. This show's dedicated to you.
Yes, rest in peace, Steve. It would be a fitting tribute if somebody threw a muffin next time or tomorrow. None of you guys do the Monster Factory on Saturday. It would be a fitting tribute that somebody throw a muffin at a ref.
Yeah.
At some point.
We have something planned for Mr. Hogan tomorrow because he was one of the dedicated fans of the Monster Factory, but wanted to get that out of the way because a lot of people who've watched CZW know who Whackpacker Hogan is and wanted to give my condolences on air.
He's a staple at a Monster Factory.
And at CZW and at all the shows in the Philadelphia area. So we're starting the show on a solemn note. But Evolve 76. This was the kickoff to Royal Rumble weekend. A suspect kickoff to Royal Rumble weekend, considering the issues with the ring.
You were telling me the ring was really spotty. Eventually collapsed.
It collapsed twice.
It collapsed twice. Yeah.
So we first had Jaka defeating Peter Casa in an okay match, but Casa, the middle rope broke towards the end of the match as Casa tried to go for a moonsault on the second rope, and the rope just collapsed, almost landed on his head and neck.
Oh, boy.
It was ugly. It
Yeah,
was
really.
ugly. So,
Yeah, that's pretty.
but
nasty.
he was able to walk under his own power. So that was great. And then the ring was still broke, as we got Darby Allin versus Chris Dickinson. Allin countered a Pazuzu bomb into a pin for the victory in about 6 or 7 minutes. It was pretty entertaining. Jason Kincaid defeated Dustin in a good match. All Ego Ethan Page defeated Zack Sabre Jr. in a okay match. Matt Riddle defeated ACH. I thought this was a really good match. I gave it about 4.
Nice.
But this was the most memorable match from this Evolve 76 show. And then we had catch point of Tracy Williams and Freddie Ahai defeating Jeff Cobb and Evolve champion Timothy Thatcher with Stokely Hathaway. Ahai got the pin on Thatcher, so that's important. So, Ahai...
You figure Ahai's going to get a shot at Thatcher.
Yes. But... I had Thatcher tap out to the Koji clutch, so that's how that was. That was a good 3.5-star match. And then Chris Hero Keith Lee. Again, the top rope broke.
Right.
I'm like, oh, Lord. This is going to be a disaster. And they recovered pretty well. They were using the second rope as the top rope. And then Keith Lee tried to go off the second rope, and...
The second rope gives out.
Yep. He tried to go for a moonsault. It was a really unfortunate situation. It sucked that it happened on Chris Hero's final weekend. Luckily, it didn't happen on night 2 of All 77.
Right.
It was really unfortunate because these two had an awesome match at Beyond Wrestling at the end of last year at their Party Animals event that was 4 stars. And I only gave it 3.25 because everything that revolved around it. It wasn't because of bad work.
It's just too many shenanigans with the ring.
Yes. So that's why I gave it 3.5. Then we got to Evolve 77, which was a fantastic show. You can watch this on FlowSlam.com. $20 a month or $150 for the year to watch all the Evolve shows and everything else that FlowSlam has to offer. So we had Darby Allin, Barrett Brown, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated the Gatekeepers and All Ego Ethan Page. And then this was cool because the Gatekeepers and Ethan Page, it turned into a 3-on-2 handicap match between Darby Allin, Barrett Brown, and All Ego Ethan Page and the Gatekeepers. And then Zack Sabre Jr. came out, who was facing Chris Hero later in the night, and this turned out into a good 6-man tag.
Okay.
So it was initially a handicap match, turned into a 3-on-3. A lot of fun stuff here. I went 3.5 on it. Then Evolve Tag Team Champion Tracy Williams defeated Laredo Kid. It was okay. Williams took advantage of the missed Phoenix Splash from Laredo Kid and hit a crossface for the win there. It was okay. I gave it 3.25.
Get a crossface and take it to tap out.
Yes.
Right.
Chris Dickinson and Jaka defeated Jason Kincaid and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara and Jason Kincaid have this good dynamic of they don't really like each other, but they're good tag partners. Sort of like the
Cesaro Sheamus type of thing.
More like the David Finlay Ricochet Kojima type of thing.
Oh, okay, I see.
Where you don't think they'll ever talk, but when they're in the ring, it's awesome.
It just works.
It just works, and this was a really good match. I thought it was 3 3/4. Kincaid and Guevara were impressive here, but the Pazuzu team got the win. The referee was also awesome at keeping track of who the legal man is. So the referee was really good in this match. After the match, Tracy Williams came out to congratulate Chris Dickinson and Jacko on their victory. And he says, high flyers like Sammy Guevara and Jason Kincaid are great, but they take risks. But Catchpoint reaps the rewards. Larry Dallas then comes out and asks Tracy Williams if Dickinson and Jacko deserve a try at the Evolve Tag Team Championships, and it was a bit heelish. So it was a good segment to start. And then we have ACH defeating Fred Yehai in a really good match. I liked it. ACH edged out Yehai to score the victory. The finish sort of came out of nowhere, but good match. Then we got the no DQ match between Matt Riddle and Dustin. Matt Riddle defeating Dustin in a no DQ match. This went all over the building. Dustin was awesome in this match. Chuck Taylor, for those of you that don't know the Dustin gimmick and Evolve. This was really just a good plunder match. Riddle Dustin put Riddle through the table with a dive, and then Riddle hit Dustin with a massive superplex onto a castle of chairs, which led to Riddle getting a win shortly thereafter. This was a really good hardcore brawl. And speaking of hardcore brawls, we'll talk about a good hardcore brawl later.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then the match everyone fell asleep for. Timothy Thatcher defeating Jeff Cobb. Tim Thatcher, you're not that good. Sorry. Sorry. You're boring. Like the catch scan guys are fine, but they at least do high spots. Timothy Thatcher does not do high spots.
So he is as low to the ground. He is basically the movable. He's on the ground. He's just on the ground. He has no intention on aerial attack
or anything exciting attack like striking.
Oh, so
it's just grapple effing, and it's horrible.
It's as technical of a wrestler as it can get.
Yeah.
But it's just nothing exciting.
It was boring. And Jeff Cobb tried to save the match, but it was like, it was like 2.5-star special.
Yeah, it was just done.
And then we get to the match where this was awesome. Chris Hero versus Zack Sabre Jr. Incredible stuff.
You figure Hero was going to go out with a bang. This was the bang.
It was 4.5 stars. And really good stuff. They did a lot of callbacks to their rivalry. But Sabre finally got the win over Hero with his armbar type move. And then it was a long post-match speech from Hero, which was great as well. So that was basically Evolve right there for that weekend. A good set of shows, I thought.
All in all, not a bad weekend, even with the terrible ring on the first night.
Yeah, I thought the ring really hurt the first night because Chris Hero and Keith Lee had a potential to be great, but all in all, good weekend for Evolve. Then we get to NXT TakeOver San Antonio.
TakeOver San Antonio, which everybody looked at it as at first glance like, oh, this card's not going to be good. This can't end well. Yet, I think it exceeded expectations. And I think
it exceeded expectations, but I still don't go away from the show as this was awesome.
It had some great moments, but it wasn't like the Brooklyn or Dallas last year.
It didn't have a standout match.
No.
Everything was solid. It was like a TNA pay-per-view. Everything was solid. And everything was compact and neat. And it was a good show.
Right. Like, there wasn't any matches that stood out as great, but there weren't any matches that stood out as awful either. And I think that's what made it productive. So the first off, before the show even began, we got the announcement that Corey Graves was leaving the NXT booth, and that Graves was going to full-on focus on Raw and 205 Live and his other stuff. So, and I like the video package they did for him for NXT on Wednesday. And as of this Wednesday, it'll be Nigel McGuinness, who's good friends with Corey, who will be filling it, who will be taking the spot over. So it'll be McGuinness and Watson and Phillips as a three-man group.
Right.
That'll do their thing in NXT. And then we get to the show itself, and we get to the first match was Dillinger versus Eric Young. And
okay, it was okay.
Yeah, it was a good way to start it. It's like they seem to start Dillinger with a lot of these takeovers. He does a pretty good job. He does a good job of starting the shows and getting into the building. A lot of shenanigans and interferences from Sanity, Big Damo, and
Kellyanne,
Alexander Wolf.
Kellyanne, what?
And Killian Damo and Alexander Wolf with a lot of shenanigans in this match, a lot of interference. It looked like Dillinger was going to win the match several times, but in the end, even with the tiebreaker, there was the ropes. He got to the ropes thanks to Damo, and then the German the wheelbarrow into the neck breaker gets it done for Eric Young. So Eric Young wins the match.
Right. And it was a competent match. I gave it 2.5. I gave it 2.5.
I can go 2 3/4. I thought it was a very solid match from start to finish. Just nothing truly stood out. I think it's what you kind of expected it from Eric Young and Dillinger, who are solid together, but nothing really stood out. And obviously you heard a lot of the 10 chants. There'll be more on Dillinger later, but obviously the 10 chants were a major part of the weekend.
Yes.
They always be when it comes to Dillinger matches.
Roddy Strong and Cien
and Andre Cien Almas.
Really good. Really good.
This was good. I enjoyed this. This is the best of all this I've seen since he's been in NXT.
Yeah, I agree. This is the best former La Sombra match I've seen in NXT. I agree with that.
He did a tremendous job in this match. He really brought it, and I was very happy to see that. And they went back and forth, and Roddy got it done. Yes, with that running Yakuza kick he does. But this was a very good match from both guys. I think they both really brought it on Saturday night in San Antonio. Well done. So I can give this match 3.5. I really did enjoy the action that they brought here. And I thought it was a very, very productive way to go about it for TakeOver. So good look for both guys. Yes, I agree.
I gave it 4. Very solid stuff. Where did you go?
Authors of Pain was next. Their match with DIY, very productive. As Authors of Pain win the tag title.
Right.
And then they remain undefeated in NXT. They did a very good job of... They didn't try to keep up with DIY in terms of speed, but they were not complete slugs. Yeah, I think that was the concern going into the match, at least mine. Will they be complete slugs dealing with a team that can go 100 miles an hour like DIY? They actually weren't. They actually moved around pretty clean. And it was good to see the double team stuff and all the saves that are accustomed to be in DIY matches with all the saves and all the like mass chaos that happens. But it was the last chapter was eventually delivered to Ciampa. And Ciampa will go down for 3, and the Authors of Pain are now the tag champions. And the real question is, who beats them for those titles? That's the real question. So I go 3 3/4 for this. I actually did enjoy this more than I thought I would. And I love the Authors of Pain. I was just worried they were going to be really, really stiff in this match, but they were actually very productive. So I go 3 3/4 for this.
I go a little lower. I go 3 1/4. I thought it was solid, but nothing more, nothing less. I think 3 3/4 would overrate it a little bit.
All right. Then we get
I thought the selling was good.
Yeah.
I thought Gargano and Ciampa were great. I just don't get it with the Authors of Pain. I just don't.
Okay, fair point. So I think the main story out of the show was Seth Rollins.
Yes.
As the next segment, it looked like they were preparing for the women's championship match, and then we get Seth Rollins, who rushes out of the crowd and storms the show and gets major, and the reaction was white hot.
They managed to turn Triple H heel in NXT.
Yep, and I think it was brilliant the way they did it. The segment itself, to me, gets like a four and a quarter even. I may be underselling it because this was. I thought it was awesome how they pulled this off with Triple H and Rollins. I thought this is a tremendous way to let that rivalry simmer and give it the necessary heat getting into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
because Rollins was still fuming after Triple H's music played, and that he got his spot cost from the Royal Rumble match for Monday. So I thought it was a tremendous way to keep the heat rolling and keep Rollins and Hunter hot going into what would happen later on. So I enjoyed that segment. That was a really good segment.
I thought it was very effective. Effective. It didn't waste a spot in the Rumble. There were many wasted spots in the Rumble. So
I thought Rollins was going to hijack the Rumble match. I really did, but he hijacked NXT instead. I thought it was all for the better. So I was totally with this.
Then we had the NXT Women's Championship match. Asuka retaining over Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay. I did not like this match on rewatch as much as other people did. I thought it was disappointing.
I wish this match were a little longer. I thought the match was too short.
I didn't come away with that. Because I thought green as goose crap. Billy and Peyton are. Yeah. You don't want to expose them in a 15-minute match. So I thought the length at 9 minutes was perfect. I thought like it was really just convoluted. A lot of stuff. There were a couple big spots, and then the rest was just mumbled, honestly. And they were practicing this match at the house shows, and it wasn't good. And I thought this came off a little better, but nothing too special. I gave it 2 3/4.
I gave it a solid 3, and I think I wanted to see a little bit more of Nikki and Asuka fighting each other. It looked like we kind of got like a teaser, maybe that they're going to do more with this between those two. But I don't think we got enough of that like we should have. Where I think a lot of us were thinking they're going to dispose of the Australians, and then it becomes one-on-one between Nikki and Asuka, and they tear each other's heads off.
Yeah,
I thought we'd get a little bit of that, but we really didn't. That's one thing the Australians did well, was that they basically made it 2-on-1 at several points in the match. 2-on-1 first with Asuka, and then they took out Nikki. Although that was a productive use of the Australians. Asuka we finished the job by kicking both Australians in the head and pinning Billy. Actually, not pinning Billy, pinning Peyton. She pinned Peyton Royce to retain the title. And Asuka is getting really close to having the first title reign go over a year in NXT.
And then we get to Bobby Roode defeating Shinsuke Nakamura. Same thing. I did not like this match as much watching it the first time as I did the second.
I thought it would be kind of Dud City. And
it was still Dud City. It was still a 2.5-star match to me. But it was there. It was there.
It was decent. Yeah, I would say decent. Maybe 2 3/4 even. Roode's not exciting.
No.
Except for that.
I'm not looking forward to a Bobby Roode championship reign. I'm not. Even though they're setting up Bobby Roode versus Chris Hero. I could be less interested.
It'll have its moments, I think, but it's not it doesn't have that same pop that Shinsuke's reign or Joe's reign, or Balor's reign. It doesn't have that same pop as other reigns in NXT have had.
Which gets me to the point of NXT had trouble selling the show out. They had trouble.
Yeah.
It wasn't a sellout.
I believe them.
It wasn't really a sellout. Even though they're claiming sellout, you don't trust WWE with that.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. They had issues. It just wasn't. Root's not a draw.
No, he's not.
This is the first time in NXT where they don't have a male's Raw as champion. Where
it's basically an entrance team as your champion.
Huh?
It's basically an entrance team as your champion.
Pretty much. Yeah, every other champion you've had in NXT since the WWE Network has launched has been a draw. Neville
You
was a
could
draw.
argue
Zayn
Shinsuke's
was
not a draw in NXT. You can argue that. They had trouble selling out the last one as well. So.
Oh, the Toronto one.
Toronto, yeah. They had trouble selling that one out as well. Which sort of alarmed my red flags in the first place. And then.
Oh, I think Shinsuke's still a big enough draw that you can carry, that Shinsuke can carry.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's against Shinsuke, but this is also a knock on Shinsuke's drawing ability because Shinsuke was tapped to basically draw the audience in, and no one wants to see Bobby Roode. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry. I'm being blunt about it.
No, it's true. I like Roode. Roode can obviously speak, and he obviously carries himself as a champion. But he's just not an overall sell. Like it's just not a great sell with him in the ring. It's just not as exciting as it should be. Like he's not stature boring, but he's not exciting. I think that's the issue with Bobby as the champion there. Roode will do fine. He'll have good rivalries. He'll be a good heel for a lot of people on NXT, simply because of how he acted, how arrogant, how snobby his character is. It's just not the draw that Shinsuke, Joe, Balor, Kevin Owens, all those guys, Sami Zayn, all those former champions before him were.
I get it, but you're basically giving the title to an entrance theme.
Right.
If you just put on. If you keep Shinsuke on, you at least get Shinsuke versus Chris Hero. They're going in the Chris Hero direction. They're going with the Cash-Zona title match.
Certainly. And they should. I think Hero will bring in... I think Hero will certainly be the draw.
I would rather see Cash-Zona versus Shinsuke Nakamura than Cash-Zona versus Bobby Roode. Cash-Zona can put in 4-star matches with anybody, and I think he'll drag it out with Bobby Roode, but... It will be a Cash-Zona carry job.
Yes.
So, we get to the Royal Rumble.
Which, I think there was maybe some, other than AJ and John.
No, I really liked Owens' reigns. Really liked it.
Going into the event.
Right.
Going into the event, I thought it would be, okay, like AJ, John, they're going to do their thing. They're going to put in work. I think the concern was every other match. Again, you even said it yourself. You didn't care for the going in for the Reigns Owens,
and I loved it. I rated 4.5.
But it turned out awesome. So yeah, this exceeded expectations as well. So first it was the pre-show, and the pre-show kicking off with the 6-woman tag between the heel women on SmackDown. Champion Alexa Bliss, Mickey, and Natalya, and then the faces for SmackDown, Naomi, Becky, and what am I saying? There's Mickey, Natalya, and Alexa, and then Naomi, Becky, and who's the foil? The foil for
Natalya.
Naomi, Becky, and Nikki. Yeah, there's Naomi, Becky, Nikki, and the faces win. Thanks to some good teamwork and the split-legged moonsault by Naomi, as they pretty much chalked it up and made it official. That'll be Naomi challenging Alexa for the title at Elimination Chamber. So, as Naomi would end up pinning her in a tag team match again, this time minus Natalya and Nikki.
Yeah, I gave
that was
it
on SmackDown.
2 3/4. Solid.
Decent way to start the show. Yeah, solid way to start the show. It was a solid way to kick it off and get things rolling for the pay-per-view.
Too sweet me. Good brothers win the tag titles.
Finally, they win the tag titles. I mentioned last week it was a now or never scenario for Anderson and Gallows, and they finally get it done. I'm actually happy that they won them. I really am. I'm actually happy that they won the tag titles because they've been a very productive, physical team. It looked like they got passed over by Cesaro and Sheamus. And to beat Cesaro and Sheamus to win the belts, I thought was a very productive way to do it. So I'm actually very happy that those two won the titles.
Yes.
Your boys finally from over from Japan and the Bullet Club finally win the Raw Tag Team Championships and assert their dominance over both foreign and domestic. So well done on both counts.
Yes.
The match itself was actually pretty good.
Okay.
It played like the Raw one did, only it didn't have the shaky finish with Sheamus. Even with Sheamus kicking the ref.
It just never seemed to hit in that gear.
It didn't get to that like accelerated gear. I agree with that.
2 3/4. Nia Jax defeated Sasha Banks. Squash match.
Yep. As Nia continues
This is how you push
to
somebody. I would rather see, at this point, rather than a 4-way, I would rather see Nia and Charlotte at Mania. I'll be perfectly honest.
Because Nia is destroying Sasha Banks at every turn. And it's looked very impressive since her debut on the Raw roster, just destroying everything in her path. So I'd still like to see, at the very least, Bayley take the title from Charlotte. But I do like what Nia is doing. Nia is worthy of at least getting in to a WrestleMania title match.
This is the most over Nia Jax has been. She's gotten in this match because she soundly defeated somebody. What a concept!
Yep.
What a concept! I'm 20 years old. We're so used to 50-50 booking that people complain that, oh, Sasha got squashed. Oh, she's buried. She's not buried.
She's not buried. Sasha's still hot.
Yes.
Sasha's still hot. The thing is, but you got to make sure that Nia's hot. To establish other other women's contenders, other than Bayley, Charlotte, other than the big three on Raw, you need this to happen for Nia to get going. Nia's always considered the fourth one. You need this to happen to have Nia get hot, and Nia become a serious, viable threat, and not just a giant, not just a big woman who's just mowing through people just because.
I thought Sasha looked okay in the match. I didn't think.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Sasha didn't look awful. She's just overmatched.
No, like working wise, I think she worked okay. Some of her strikes were horrendous.
She's just overmatched because Nia is twice her size or 3 times her size. It just.
But you can still try to make the strikes look convincing.
Sure.
Then we get to the opening match of the actual card, and it's Bayley Charlotte. Rock solid opener. I thought it was okay. It took a little while to work into the match, but
right. But it served its purpose. It served its purpose to say yes, Bayley's arrived, but Charlotte is still queen of pay-per-view. 16-0 now in singles matches at pay-per-views. As she keeps the women's championship. Natural selection on the apron was pretty sick.
That was nice. That was nice.
That was a nice way to finish. I think we understand that if anyone's going to beat Charlotte, it's going to take everything to beat Charlotte at a pay-per-view.
And Charlotte has improved so much. So much.
Yeah. I told you when they were drafted, so when they came up and the three of them came up, the 3 other horsewomen non-named Bayley, Charlotte I thought was the best of them. And she is continuing to improve, and she's continuing not only as her character as a heel, but in the ring as well. She's getting stronger and stronger. It's becoming harder and harder to beat her.
I think Charlotte has not been a disappointment on the main roster. I can legitimately say Bayley and Sasha have been disappointments on the main roster. I'm sorry to say. That's my hot take right now. Bayley and Sasha don't look as
they're not
good.
ready as Charlotte is.
No, they're not ready.
Yeah,
Becky
no,
is pretty.
I agree with that.
Becky's pretty solid. Becky is
Becky's
pretty
fine.
solid.
Becky's fine. But
If I were to rank the 4 right now, I would say go Charlotte 1, Becky 2.
Oh, right.
I would rank Alexa Bliss ahead of Bayley and Sasha. Seriously, I would.
I'll agree with that because Alexa looks very composed. She's a natural heel, and she's got that.
She has that high
like
school
her
cheerleader bitch quality to her.
Yeah. She absolutely, and that she had with Blake and Murphy. They've done minimal changes with her character, and I think it was perfect. And I think it's perfectly fine with Alexa. She's kind of that smarmy. You got to get to her to get the title from her, but can't because Mickie James is basically her backup, and it works. It just simply works.
And you can make a case for Nia looking better than Bayley and Sasha have. Like, Bayley looks like a little kid, and Sasha looks like she can't sell for crap. Her matches are sloppy as all hell.
Outside of her matches with Charlotte, Sasha, like her one-on-ones with Charlotte, other than those, Sasha seems at times like kind of lost.
Yes.
In other matches. I think like, her matches with Charlotte are fine because it's kind of a part carried by Charlotte, and Sasha just like going with it. But I would agree with your thought process of Charlotte 1, Becky 2, Alexa 3. I'd still go Sasha 4 because Sasha has shown she can wrestle in big matches.
Right.
And I will go that far. Nia, we haven't seen that from Nia yet. We've seen it from Bayley in a big match, and Bayley's decent on the main roster in big matches, but I will go Bayley 5 and then Nia because we just haven't seen Nia in that big type of stage yet. I think Nia can do it, but we just haven't seen it yet. I want to see what Nia does on the big stage and on the main roster. But Charlotte retaining, I think Charlotte should hold it to WrestleMania. And then at which point then Bayley I think gets it. But I think I have no issue with Charlotte retaining on Sunday.
Owens Reigns.
This was
awesome.
Good.
This was an amazing match.
Really
this
was.
felt really different from any other plunder match in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the spots were really well timed.
The spots were meaningful.
I felt everything built up to it was good. The only knock I have is the Braun interference, but it wasn't a bad knock. And the Jericho on the cage. Why was he up there? I still don't get it. I get it.
A little bit too much of a drastic way to keep Jericho from interfering because Jericho has interfered in every title match Owens has had since he won the championship. So I get it. You want Jericho out of the picture and make Owens have to defend it without Chris. I get that point. But
he still won in a messed up way. So
Braun Strowman's interference is what drew this down for me. I was thinking 4.5 easy, and then Braun.
I still rated 4.5. It was flirting 4 3/4 for me. This was awesome.
This was really good from start to finish.
This was tremendous.
It really was. I wanted it to be higher, but I brought it down a little bit because of Strowman. But it was a very good match. The table spot, the frog spot was crazy. The castle, the chair castle.
Oh my god!
WWE did a chair castle, and Owens ate all of those chairs on that. You had the table spot on the outside with Roman with the powerbomb. It all made sense. Everything made sense. I think it was a really good one, and I get that why Strowman interferes as we get to we'll get to Raw later, and that actually made some sense. But I kind of wish he didn't interfere. I kind of wish Owens won it clean, and we keep moving and get off this. Kevin Owens can't win a title without Jericho's help or without help. Period.
Right.
But it was a really good match. It wasn't a really good match from the refs. I had no issue with this whatsoever.
Yeah, Joe Lanza had it at 4 3/4. He almost won 5 on it. And I'm like, yeah, I could see it. But the reviewers on Voice of Wrestling had it at 3.5 and 3 3/4. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This was really fun. That's really low.
That's way too low. This is at worst 4.5. I think they're counting.
At worst 4.
Yeah, at worst, even when it counts Strowman's interference, at worst. Then we get to AJ and Cena.
No, Neville and Twitch Swan. I know we forget about. I know we can forget about the cruiserweights, but
the crowd the crowd was super dead for this match.
And then then when they get into a flow of the match, chin lock for 3 minutes. I'm utterly convinced that it's a mandate in these cruiserweight matches to put a chin lock in.
I think they tried
to incorporate every cruiserweight match has a rest hold, and I'm like, just let these guys do their flips.
I think they tried too hard to incorporate wrestling and say, hey, we're not all about aerial flip spot games.
I don't care. I want flips.
I think they kind of have to be about aerial spot games.
I want flips with a Z. I want flips with a Z. Like the John Cena AJ Styles match was moves with a Z.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to see. It would be better, I think, to some degree, if they were more aerial games. If the flips and the spots and those types of things, if they were a little bit more pronounced, as opposed to you'll flip and then there'll be a couple rests and then we'll get to a finish. I think that the matches are going too slow, which is probably why they are slower paced. I think that's why they're not doing so well with the ratings. Neville is the rightful champion. Neville's the rightful guy to hold the belt. But I think it would be a little bit better if there was some more aerial game to it. I think that's the entire division as a whole.
Yeah. 3 stars, I would go.
Yeah, that's about right.
Then we get to John Cena and AJ Styles. Stop! Let me make this point first. Stop comparing it to Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, people.
I agree.
Those were 2 different matches. 2 different matches. One had more of a storytelling element, and the other is your move, I do a move, you do a move. Mm-hmm. That was Cena AJ Styles. I think a better comparison to this was a better version of Ricochet versus Will Ospreay.
Plus, they're able to Cena doesn't do the area stuff. But
no, okay. I mean, like, for Spot Fest, I
got you.
For Spot Fest, like Cena AJ, it's a more enhanced version of that. These 2 have amazing chemistry.
They sure do.
John Cena put in the best performance of his career in this match.
Because I think he had to.
This was awesome.
Cena was a boss at SummerSlam and still couldn't beat him. He had to put his best out against AJ. He had no choice. That was the only way he was going to beat AJ is if he brought his absolute very best to beat AJ Styles.
This was amazing.
Like
this was amazing.
This played out like SummerSlam. It really did. It felt like SummerSlam to me.
The cradle attitude adjustment. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how freaking athletic.
The roll through.
The only spot that I think would have rated this match at 5 stars was when Cena went for the leg drop and Styles looked like he was going to go for the Styles Clash. I was like, if he seemingly did that.
If he did the Styles Clash off that, I was like, yeah, okay.
All right, you're 5. You're 5. I'm done. You win. But they covered it well by calling it a powerbomb. But right. I could tell with the frustration and it going into the Styles Clash to the next move.
I think he wanted to do a Styles Clash.
He wanted to do the Kota Ibushi.
He wanted to do the Styles Clash. Cena just came down too fast.
Yeah.
He just came down too fast. It was I would have chalked it at that point. You're right.
I would have been like, yeah. But this was still great. This was still.
I would have chalked it at that point. But this was tremendous.
Still an all-time match.
Still an all-time match.
This compares very well to SummerSlam's.
I thought this was way better than SummerSlam. I had SummerSlam at 4. And
I had that one in the 4.75 range. I had that one in that range.
I have this at 4.75.
This one I absolutely will go 4.75 for, because this was a.
And initially I went 5.
I kept it at 4.75. So Cena wins 16. Flair is perfectly cool with it. With him getting number 16 there. And I think if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it at a big event, a Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania type of thing. If you're gonna have Cena tie and then break the record, it's got to be at one of the core 4 WWE pay-per-views. Maybe not Survivor Series. I don't know if Survivor Series is big enough for it, but the other 3, I think you got to do it at least any of the other 3, unless you build up Survivor Series again and make it what it should be. So I had no issue with that. I thought it was a tremendous match from start to finish, and obviously there's more to it. There's more to the situation going forward. As we get to the Royal Rumble match.
Royal Rumble match. We'll go by entrant. How about that?
All right.
Big Cass lasted 9 minutes 57 seconds. Was eliminated by Braun Strowman. Third was eliminated.
He's a song by Big Cass.
I thought it was weird. You know, but
it's always weird seeing Big Cass and Enzo fight without each other.
Yeah. 2, Chris Jericho doing the Bob Backlund gimmick, lasting an hour 13, having 2 eliminations. Was eliminated by Roman Reigns.
We'll get to Roman later.
But Chris Jericho's performance was good. Kalisto looked okay before getting eliminated by Braun.
Yeah.
Mojo Rawley, and this was the number I drew for a Royal Rumble pool. I was like,
you drew number 4 and it came out Mojo.
I was like, Mojo, oh God.
You drew number 4 and it came out Mojo, and it was like, ooh.
Yeah. Jack Gallagher came out at 5. We got the Mary Poppins spots.
We got the Mary Poppins spot, which was hilarious. The comedy with Gallagher. If you kind of did the umbrella low blow thing to Jericho and open the umbrella indoors, which we know is generally bad luck. But it was funny. Gallagher was very funny in his time, and then Braun Strowman made him believe he could fly.
No, that was more James Ellsworth. That was Jack Gallagher.
Ellsworth flew further. But
Jack Gallagher got flown by Mark Henry.
By Mark Henry. Henry had the first official elimination of the match. With Mark Henry.
Speaking of which, Mark Henry.
Henry came out next.
Blah.
And
let's move on.
Yeah, nothing special. They basically fed him to Strowman, who came out next. And
somebody's going to get their ass kicked as Braun Strowman did the Diesel spot. 7 eliminations early.
As I told you last week, I thought Strowman would go Diesel, Khali flow, and just lay waste to a bunch of dudes. When Strowman came in, he wrecked shop. He wrecked shop quick. Sami Zayn was very impressive.
47 minutes, 12 seconds, second longest guy in the match.
Mm-hmm. And he ate finishers from a lot of dudes. He ate so many finishers. I think it was Miz, Taker, Goldberg. He ate a couple other ones, but he ate some finishers.
Yeah. Strowman,
he ate Strowman. He had a lot of finishers.
Yeah,
Big Show
would get eliminated by Braun. And
Big Show didn't do anything special.
then the best booking decision. And then the best booking decision of this entire match. 10.
Yep.
Thank God.
Yep. They didn't. It set itself up. Yeah, I think some people were thinking, okay, WWE can't possibly screw this up. But then get a WWE and they do a ton to screw this up. They didn't. So Dillinger comes out at 10. The place goes bonkers. Everyone's happy. Dillinger was another Strowman victim. He lasted 5.5 minutes, pretty much 5:27 officially. But it was good to see Dillinger get the huge pop and come in at number 10.
James Ellsworth 11. Splat. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, pretty much. And he basically begged Carmella not to go into the ring for a time, and then Ambrose comes in and basically suckers Ellsworth into the ring, and we believe Ellsworth can fly, and he hit his shoulder so hard.
Yeah. Dean Ambrose, okay.
Ambrose was decent. And Ambrose he filled a decent role, kind of one of those grunt work type of guys in the Rumble. Nothing overly spectacular, but he was a good grunt guy in this match.
Big banter, big breakfast, Baron Corbin.
Corbin was, I thought, the most impressive from SmackDown, and I'm not sure it was close. Corbin did a very good job. And he was the guy who finally eliminated Strowman single-handedly. Once again, they're building up Baron Corbin, and I love that they're building him up. I think Corbin's got a monster year ahead of him.
Yeah, he does. Kofi Kingston.
The degree of difficulty of Kofi's spot this year.
He almost impaled himself.
Yeah, the degree of difficulty, A, on the body, and B, the fact that he was actually able to do it the way he did it was shocking. The way he did it, I thought it was sneaky. It was sneaky good. It was a sneaky good way to go through with it.
Then we have a big cluster here where nothing happened. Miz, Big E, Sheamus, Rusev, Cesaro, and Xavier.
Miz officially 5 seconds lasted longer than Corbin. So Miz officially was the longest lasting on SmackDown by 5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't care about the rest. Bray Wyatt.
We got a whole lot of nothing from the other two members of New Day, Rusev, Cesaro, and Sheamus. The other two members of New Day, Sheamus and Cesaro. We didn't get a whole lot of nothing. Then the match kicks up with Bray Wyatt coming in at 21. Things started to get semi-interesting with Bray. Apollo Crews didn't do much of anything. Let's see. Randy Orton came in at 23rd. It's more on Orton later. We'll get to Orton later. Dolph didn't do but too much. Luke Harper's part. We'll get to him and it looked like he formally turned on the Wyatts. He's formally out of the Wyatt family. So yeah, that was a good development there.
Brock
Lesnar came in, wrecked shop. He got 3 eliminations pretty quickly.
27 Enzo. Bye.
Yep, and Enzo got basically see you bye. He got exit stage right. He lasted the second shortest of this Royal Rumble.
Behind
Ellsworth lasted the shortest with 15 seconds. Ellsworth and Strowman, Enzo lasted 18. So that was that. Then we get to the heavyweights. Then we get to Goldberg and Undertaker at 28 and 29, where Goldberg with ease would eliminate Brock from the Rumble and kind of squash Brock once again. I thought it was semi-trolling that Lesnar came in at 26. I thought that was a secret troll to get Lesnar that way. But it was. So Goldberg eliminates Lesnar, and the Taker comes in. He wrecks some shop and will promptly eliminate Goldberg, which I thought was an interesting development there. So Taker comes in 29, and then we get to number 30. Okay. And then we're thinking, okay, we're going to get Finn or Joe. We're going to get Finn Balor or Samoa Joe. And then we see the reaction videos online that blow up the internet. And then we hear Roman, and then we hear from some people F-bombs, the WTF flow. We hear, I can't believe we're doing this again, or you got to be kidding me. And we both agreed the best one was the dude who was at the Royal Rumble and preparing for Finn, he's preparing for Joe, something like that. No words. He said no words. He said no words and just let the entrance happen. And you can visibly see the disappointment on his face. As Roman Reigns comes in at number 30, and it was a shock. It was a shock. So Final Four turned out to be the final kind of stanza of the Rumble was Reigns, Taker, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Chris Jericho. Those are effectively the 5 main players that were left at the end. Undertaker would be eliminated by Roman, which did not go over well with anyone watching this thing. Any fan watching this thing was like, "Oh no, you're going to feed Taker to Roman? Oh, that's not so good." And that's apparently the hook now. They're going to feed Taker to Roman. And that's apparently the hook. So Taker ended up getting eliminated by Roman, and then we're down to the Wyatt, and Jericho gets eliminated by Roman. So there goes Jericho, 1 hour and 13 seconds. The second longest not to win that Rumble, but Jericho blew away the cumulative time record. He blew that away. He's ahead of Triple H by a full hour in that regard. So we're down to the two Wyatt, Bray and Orton, and Roman. And at which point, I think everybody's cheering for Bray at this point, because you figure, oh no, not Roman again, or why Randy Orton? Why Randy in this situation?
The funniest one was this one.
And Undertaker WrestleMania. Finn Balor.
So good.
The guy whose shirt was in that. The guy looking around like he is depressed at the Rumble.
Those reactions were good. That was good too. That was a good one. So we're down to 3, and we're down to Roman and Orton and Bray, just like in the Survivor Series. And we would get Roman eliminating Bray to put it down to 2. And it's like, at this point, I think everybody's thinking, oh, God, Roman's going to win it again. Roman's going to win it again. He's going to get booed, not by 20,000 people like he was here, but by 50,000 people in San Antonio. It's going to sound a whole lot louder. And it looks like Roman's about to finish Orton off with a spear and get back to business. Orton counters into a beautiful RKO as Roman runs head first into an RKO. And then Roman gets eliminated by Orton. So Randy Orton wins the Royal Rumble match. He lasted almost 21 minutes. He got one elimination, but it was the last one of the match. So Orton wins the match and will go on to WrestleMania and face the WWE champion, whoever that shall be. And it's his second Royal Rumble win, so he becomes just the 7th to win 2 Rumbles. So we have Hogan, Michaels, Austin, Cena, Triple H, Batista, and now Randy Orton, who all won multiple Royal Rumbles. And Roman is it's hilarious on this end. Roman Reigns has been eliminated by 3 of the 4 members of Evolution, and said third member, and said 3 members of Evolution went on to win those respective Rumbles. That was all of their second Royal Rumble wins. Remember Batista in 2014, Triple H in 2016, and now Orton last Sunday. So that's what we have in terms of Randy. In terms of Roman Reigns.
Won in 2015.
Roman won it in 2015. There were no members of Evolution in the 2015 Royal Rumble match. So there you have it. That's a look at the Rumble. Roman did get 3 eliminations, so Reigns inches closer to Kane's record. Kane was not in this Royal Rumble, but Roman he gets closer to Kane's record of 43 eliminations, and Roman will undoubtedly have it at some point soon. And now jumping to Raw, where Raw kicks off with the Universal Championship situation, where Owens is celebrating that he's retained the title, things are cool, and then Braun Strowman comes out. And we get to the bottom as to why Strowman interfered. Strowman interfered because of a conversation they had on the previous month, where Owens made a promise that if he made the deal happen, if he took out Roman Reigns to some degree, that Strowman would be next in line to be in a one-on-one match with Owens for the title. And that didn't work out so well. That did not work out so well for Owens. Mick Foley made the match happen, and this became a situation of Kevin Owens might feel a whole lot of pain. He's already not 100%. Braun Strowman's basically fresh, even though Strowman wrestled later in the evening with the Rumble match. So this logically was not going to end well for Kevin Owens. We'll get to that in a little bit. We saw, other major things that happened on Raw. We saw the fallout. Rollins was banned from the Royal Rumble, so he did not crash the Rumble party. I was kind of wishing he would. I kind of thought he would until he made a takeover. Rollins was Triple H said he was going to deal with Rollins. That was a good promo with him and Stephanie. I thought the promo with Rollins and Steph about how they're going to handle this, how they're going to handle what's going to happen with Seth. So Stephanie made the promise and Triple H was in the building. Jericho would lose to Sami Zayn, which is pretty clear that Sami's going to get a one-on-one shot at Jericho in the U.S. Championship. But I have no issue with Sami winning the title. I actually like to see Sami win it. I think that would be a good look for him as the secondary champion on Raw. I'd enjoy it. Oh, and that was a great segment. That was a hilarious segment with Dean and Sami at the Rumble. That was funny.
They made him look like a geek.
Huh?
They made Sami look like a geek, which is the last thing Sami Zayn needs.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the comedy thing with Dean. I think it's usually funny when Dean does comedy stuff. Let's see here. Other crazy things that happened. We saw the 6-person tag from the tag champions, Anderson and Gallows, and Charlotte versus Bayley, Cesaro, Sheamus, where the challengers would get it done. Thanks to Bayley to belly on Charlotte, so Bayley pins Charlotte again in a non-title match. Let's see here. We saw a little bit of an attack by Rich Swann onto Neville. More on that at 205 Live. And then we get to the two major pieces of business. One being the beatdown that Braun Strowman gave Kevin Owens, and it was a beatdown, as Owens got stomped. And before that, Jericho got chokeslammed through the announce table, and Jericho had nothing to do with Braun Strowman. I don't blame him. He took a beating, right. And it was truly one-on-one. And basically, Roman Reigns saved Kevin Owens from losing the Universal Championship, because by all rights, Strowman was going to win it, and we don't know how long he was going to hold it. It was going to be a very long reign for Braun Strowman. Then we get to the main event of the evening. Huh?
Brock Goldberg.
Yeah, Brock Goldberg. Where clearly Heyman and Lesnar seem incredibly defeated because Goldberg seems to dominate whenever they're in the ring against each other in any circumstance. So Brock and Goldberg will fight at WrestleMania. Presumably, we expect Goldberg to accept the challenge on Raw this Monday. Goldberg will be there. And then we get to the main event. We get to the business at hand, Triple H and Seth Rollins. And basically, Seth fighting the hand that fed him, which is basically Triple H's way of thinking about it. And it looked like Rollins was finally going to get the confrontation at hand. We're going to finally see Rollins get Triple H one-on-one, and it was going to be on. Instead, we get someone with Joe. We get the debut of Joe, and the crowd went nuts.
Yep.
I thought it was a very good way to put Joe on and put Joe in business. The crowd went completely berserk. And Samoa Joe wasted no time in disposing of Seth Rollins as he put the Coquina clutch on Seth. Unfortunately, while he was wrestling him into the Coquina clutch, Rollins hurt his knee. And apparently it's a sprained MCL. It's an MCL injury, and Rollins will be out 6 to 8 weeks. So that's apparently the diagnosis. WrestleMania, we do not know. 6 to 8 weeks will pretty much take you there. It's just a matter of, if it's 6 weeks, Rollins will be there for WrestleMania. If it's 8, it's really, really iffy. They should not rush Seth back. It's the same knee that he destroyed, was costing the title a few years ago. Kind of setting this whole thing in motion in the first place. I would hope that he doesn't miss a second straight Mania, but it was not a good look for Rollins to get hurt at this time. So I hope that Seth's gonna be cool, but it really sucks that Seth went down like that. Because he was starting to really get momentum, and this whole thing with Triple H is really starting to get good.
Yeah.
So that was a really unfortunate thing what happened with that. See, SmackDown was next, and other Raw started to finish was better than SmackDown, but SmackDown was at least solid. I told you about the tag match between Mickey and Alexa, and then Naomi and Becky, where the face team would win, and once again Naomi would pin Alexa. So that happened. The show kicked off with Cena, and Cena cut his promo, and then the Wyatt's warning to Cena is that they're coming. Is that they're coming for him. Which will lead to a tag match between Luke Harper and John Cena versus Randy and Bray. And I think what we've established here is that
Luke Harper's loyal to Bray Wyatt, but not to Randy Orton.
He wants no part. He wants to beat up Randy Orton, but he's absolutely loyal to Bray. And if he had a chance to pull the trigger and give Bray Sister Abigail, he probably didn't. Instead, Bray flipped it on him and hit him with it, and which will lead to a 2-on-1 situation with Orton and Cena, and an RKO to John would eventually give Orton the pin. So Orton and Cena will face off next week, once again, as we've seen many times.
Right.
But this time on SmackDown. We haven't seen on SmackDown too often. The Elimination Chamber main event, 3 Elimination Chamber title matches were made. The Chamber title match, the WWE Championship, was made official to start the show. Obviously, AJ and Cena were locked to get in. And then we got Miz, Corbin, Ambrose, and
Ziggler.
Ziggler's in too.
Bray Wyatt.
I'm sorry, not Ziggler, Bray. It's Bray. So that'll be the 6. Bray Wyatt, Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, AJ Styles, and WWE Champion John Cena. Those are going to be the 6 that are going to do battle inside the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship. Winner gets Randy Orton at WrestleMania. So there's a lot of different angles here and a lot of different ways to go here.
They could do Randy Orton, Luke Harper for the show.
Oh, at the pay-per-view, yeah. They're probably going to do Randy and Harper. At the pay-per-view, absolutely.
Dolph, Apollo.
Yep, Dolph and Cruz.
Alexa Bliss, Naomi.
Which was made official. Alexa versus Naomi, they made official on Talking Smack. And same with the tag team championship situations, who conspicuous by their absence, American Alpha really hasn't had much competition. And then they get all the competition. As all the other tag teams rush the ring, it turned into a full-on war between every tag team involved. So it'll be tag team turmoil. I kind of wish this was in the chamber, but they're going to do a tag team turmoil with all the major tag teams. We got the Usos, we got the Vaudevillains, we got Slater and Rhino, we've got Breezango, and we got the Ascension. Who are going to be,
Oof.
Yep, yeah, they're in it too. So you got the Ascension. They will be the 6. They'll be the teams involved in the tag team match for the tag titles at the Chamber. The main event of the evening was the one-on-one between Styles and Ambrose as they rekindle the rivalry that dominated a lot of the fall on SmackDown. Miz and Corbin were at ringside. A lot of headsets. I'm amazed they had 7 headsets for all that, but it worked. Maurice didn't say anything. It turned into a heated shouting match with Miz and Corbin. Corbin made it turn physical and disposed of and would eventually get the jump on Miz as they clearly brawled. All this caused a distraction for Ambrose and led to the Styles clash from Styles to Ambrose, so Styles pinned the Intercontinental Champion. Then the party kicked up after the match. As Styles left the ring, Miz was left to feast upon Ambrose dropping him with a skull-crushing finale.
Yes.
Corbin wasn't done with Miz, as he would promptly drop Miz at the end of days, and then promptly drop Ambrose with the same move, leaving both guys land, and Baron Corbin having a very good week, as Corbin's impressive showing in the Rumble, and then laying out Miz and Ambrose with the end of days. A good week for Baron Corbin. NXT. Actually, 12-5-5-6. 205 Live was Swan
Okay.
was not clear to compete, so let's do the main event tag match was Gallagher and
Cedric.
Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar and Neville. That was really and Akira Tozawa's debut. Akira Tozawa was impressive.
Yes,
I do
Akira
wanna
Tozawa
say-
actually got a reaction out of the 19 people that were still in the audience.
He really did. He really did.
He actually got a reaction because he's
Yep.
charismatic and he's Japanese.
Yep, and he got a reaction. He got Kendrick's attention. Kendrick was at ringside watching it happen. That snap German suplex was pretty ruthless.
Yes.
Let's see, Tony Nese won his match. The Grand Metalik was with T.J. Perkins coming down to make the save.
He didn't win against Grand Metal League. He won
I
against
know Metalik
Lindsay
won him. I'm
Dorado.
sorry. Metalik, huh?
Lindsay Dorado.
This is Dorado. I'm sorry.
Wrong mascot.
Yeah, I'm
Beast Mike,
wrong
come
mascot.
on.
Yeah, no, wrong mascot. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of I'm actually no. He didn't in
Grand
I'm
Metal
thinking
League's
he
coming
went-
soon.
Yeah, Metalik coming too. Yeah, they show Metalik a lot of promos, and he actually hasn't wrestled yet. But I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't think he actually won the match. I think Nese had beat him, and
Yeah, Nice.
then
Then Perkins made the save.
obviously Perkins made the save, which was the part I was getting to, because it looked like Nese was going to do more damage, and then Perkins made the save. So clearly, Nese got unfinished business with TJP. So that was the topic of discussion on 205 Live there. And this obviously the talk about Tozawa doing his thing, and then the tag match. So those are the main points of 205 Live. Where Neville will leave Dar high and dry, and basically he was no match for Alexander and Gallagher. Alexander gets the lumbar check and leaves him laying, so Cedric Alexander gets it done for his team. But it's clear that Neville will battle Swan at some point in Swan's rematch for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yes.
Now we get to NXT, and the last NXT of Corey Graves at the commentary booth, we saw Tyler Bates with a attraction match with Oney Lorcan. Decent. Well, it was decent. A solid match. The crowd took the Tyler Bates, so I thought it was productive. So and Bates got the W with the Tyler Driver 97. Good work there. Ember Moon doing her thing because against Aaliyah. She was late waste to Aaliyah with the Eclipse and made her intentions known that she's coming for Asuka. Asuka immediately laughed off the challenge, so I guess we can get the sense of this is going to be on when they battle each other. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I think Nikki Cross should absolutely have a say in this whole situation. I'd love to see her and those three get it in and take over in Orlando.
Yes.
I was just thinking of other major things that happened. The other major thing that happened was the main event, because a lot of it was a recap of TakeOver in San Antonio. The other thing was the main event of Samson and No Way Jose, and the evisceration of Elias Samson by Corey Graves. Because they did the Corey Graves package, a video package, and then after that they had Samson come out, and he waved goodbye to Corey Graves, and then Corey Graves went ham on pretty much the entire match. It was actually amazing. It started because Samson's from Pittsburgh, and Corey Graves probably said he's not from Pittsburgh, and proceeded to eviscerate him on the mic. It was amazing. It was actually incredible. During the match itself, Samson and Jose were fine. They did their thing, and Jose would pop up, punch Samson in the face, leaving Samson laying as Jose gets the W. But the treat of the match was listening to the commentary and the evisceration by Corey Graves on Elias Samson. That was the treat of the match.
Yes.
So that was NXT, and that's really your week in WWE. As we get the main things we're looking forward to on Raw, obviously the return of Goldberg. We'll see where Goldberg goes from here. SmackDown, we'll Cena versus Orton again, and we're going to get and Bobby Roode will be on NXT this week as he does his glorious celebration after winning the NXT Championship.
Yes. So we have New Japan, New Beginning in Sapporo on Sunday, and then next Friday is New Beginning in Osaka. The first match we were previewing is Hirai, Kawato, and Kushida versus Suzuki-gun of El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. I think Suzuki-gun's going to win that one. Seems about right.
It does seem legit.
And then we got Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan versus Yoshitatsu, Tomoyuki Oka, who's the heavyweight young lion, and Hanare. I think Nagata's going to win over Oka here.
I would think the young lion would probably get pinned here.
Yeah.
I would think.
Chaos of Gato, Jado, and Will Ospreay versus Jushin Liger, Katsuyori Shibata, and Tiger Mask. I think Ospreay's going to get the win over Shibata here to set up their title match.
Yep. That seems legit.
Then we get Takashi Iizuka versus Yoshihashi. I wish I could skip this. Not for Yoshihashi, but for Takashi Iizuka, who is my friend. He's 50 years old.
Oh.
He's
There'll
not
probably
very
be
good.
there might be some comedy involved in this, but yeah, if he moves around at the equivalent at the speed of a tortoise, that might be a problem.
Yes. He's slower than Nakanishi. Come on.
Ooh, that might be a problem.
Dragon Lee. Speaking of Manabu Nakanishi, Dragon Lee, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Manabu Nakanishi, Michael Elgin, and Ryusuke Taguchi versus Los Ingobernables, all of them. I think Ingobernables get the win. Then we have the Roppongi Vice. Roppongi Lights. Roppongi Vice.
Tag champion.
Versus Suzuki-gun of Taichi and Taka. I think Roppongi Vice retain here.
They're going to keep Roppongi strong. You figure they're going to, at some point, battle the Bucks.
Probably at the Honor Rising shows.
Right.
Or in the New Japan Cup. Hiroki Goto versus Juice Robinson for the Never Openweight tag titles. Never Openweight championship, not the Never Openweight six-man.
Right.
Who do you think's going to win? I think Goto's going to win easily.
Juice Robinson's getting better, and I'm sure there'll be moments where it looks like Juice is going to win, but I don't think he's ready for that yet. I think Goto retains.
Three-way tag team match. Chaos, Ishii and Yano. GBH, Makabe and Hanma, and KES, Killer Elite Squad of Davey Boy Smith and Lance Archer. I think KES takes both those matches because they will have another three-way at the Osaka show.
With the same three teams?
Yeah, with the same three teams.
No, yeah, they're not going to hot potato this.
You never know they can because they don't care about
could.
the tag titles.
I'll try these. These are never overweights.
No, these are the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles, which they don't care about.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they could hot potato it. They get the situation where KES wins the first one and then loses the second.
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen. They'll win the first, lose the second.
Yeah, it's a GBH probably.
Yeah.
Kazuchika Okada versus Minoru Suzuki for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I think Okada retains, but I won't be shocked if Suzuki wins.
I think Okada retains, but Suzuki I think will look good. It's just a matter of
This match will be freaking awesome.
And who the next prime challenger for Okada will be. As we've seen, obviously, the return of Omega. Will Omega go after it again? And we'll see who the next real challenger, next real rivalry he's going to have, Okada will be. Looking forward to seeing what happens next with him.
Yes. Then this will be going on during the Sapporo Snow Festival, which New Japan has been traditionally holding shows in Sapporo for the Sapporo Snow Festival, an old tradition. And the English commentary will be provided by Kevin Kelly and the former Cyrus, Don Callis.
I remember Cyrus the Virus from UCW.
So, and New Beginning in Osaka will also have English commentary by Don Callis and Kevin Kelly. And the card there is Hanare and Tamuki Oka versus Yoshitatsu and Hirai Kawato. Just an opener Young Lion match. Then we have Hiroyoshi Tenzan, Kushida, and Satoshi Kojima versus Suzuki Gun of Izuka, Dusty, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Then we had Chaos of Gedo, Jado, Goto, and Yoshihashi versus Juice Robinson, Jushin Liger, Jushin Liger, not Taichi, Tiger Mask, and Yuji Nagata. We have Chaos, Beretta, Rocky Romero, and Okada versus Suzuki-gun of Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and Taka Michinoku. We have the Never Openweight 6-man titles, Tanahashi, Nakanishi, and Taguchi versus Bushi, Evil, Sonata. Shibata versus Ospreay for the British Heavyweight Championship. We have the three-way tag we talked about earlier. Hiromu versus Dragon Lee, which is going to be excellent. Mm-hmm. And then Tetsuya Naito versus Michael Elgin for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship.
That should be a good feud if they really let that ride. That could be a good feud between those two guys.
Yes. So that will be it for us.
Yep. Let's see. Monday's Lounge. You pretty much know where this is going. Super Bowl 51. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the commercials, the anthem, the halftime show. We'll talk about all the good things that happened here. Who will be the champion, the Falcons and the Patriots. We'll talk about signing day. National Signing Day was on Wednesday. We didn't bring that up last week, but we'll totally talk about it.
Wing Bowl. Notorious B.O.B.
Yep, Notorious B.O.B. winning with 409 wings. 409 wings. He wins the normal competition, and then Tiger wins his thing, wins the Legends portion. He finished second overall. But he was no match for Notorious B.O.B., who's been in it for a while, and he was denied legend status, but he ended up winning the normal title outright. So he is now Wing Bowl champion as they celebrated the 25th Wing Bowl. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth on Monday. And we will preview. We'll start the division by division preview in baseball next week. It won't be this Monday. It'll be the following Monday. And we will start it with the American League Central. The AL Central will be the first division we do next week. Not this Monday. Again, it'll be the following Monday. So that's when we'll start the division by division previews.
That'll do it for
hockey and basketball. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, and the NBA All-Star Game's coming up.
NBA All-Star Game will be the week after, but that'll be on the weekend of the division previews. We'll get into the All-Star Game and then talk about the participants in the All-Star weekend.
The three-point contest has become the highlight contest.
It is the best of the contest. So the dunk contest this year could actually be good. With Aaron Gordon and DeAndre Jordan both in it. Huh?
Who is in the dunk contest this year?
It's Aaron Gordon coming back to get the title that he should have won last year. It's DeAndre Jordan from the Clippers.
Glenn Robinson and Derek Jones Jr.
And those are the four. Yeah, so
who do you think's going to win that one? I think DeAndre has a good shot.
He does have a real shot, but I'm going to go Aaron Gordon. I think Gordon should have won it last year, and I think Gordon gets it this year.
Zach LaVine not in the slam dunk contest.
Klay Thompson will defend his three-point shootout. We'll get more into that next week as well, or in 2 weeks as well as we get closer to the All-Star Game. So we'll get into all of that. But that's the lounge on Monday. So look out for that on Monday morning, as we'll be the first place to talk about the Super Bowl after on Monday.
So it is 11:23 on Monco Radio, where music reminds me